Ellie Sax here. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what I take to every single gig in my gig bag, so let's take a look.
Ellie Sax. Go!
This is what I have in my gig bag anytime I go out to a gig. All of this stuff comes with me, and obviously my saxophone, but that's in a separate bag. So let's have a chat over each little bit. First up is the microphone. That is such an important piece of kit for a sax player because it's what manages to translate what you're playing and how you sound to your audience. And I love my microphone. It is a Shure GLX series wireless microphone. So this is the wireless microphone receiver. The microphone uses a little rechargeable battery, which is super useful to not have to replace batteries all the time, and your receiver charges the battery. So I have two batteries, one in the microphone and one in there at all times, and then it just charges the other one while I'm using one. The battery life is insane. It's about 17 hours for each one. One really cool thing about this microphone is it uses the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, so you don't have to have a license for it, so you can rock up anywhere and use it. It also automatically tunes into a free frequency for you, so it's not going to clash with other microphones in the vicinity, and you don't have to retune it. It'll retune itself, which is absolutely awesome. This is where the battery is kept, so all you need to do is take it out and charge it whenever you need to. That's absolutely great. A few things I absolutely love about this microphone. Number one, it doesn't feedback anywhere near as much as the microphones I've had in the past, and that is because it's got a cardioid pickup pattern, which is absolutely awesome. So you don't have to avoid speakers like I used to have to. Number two, the transmitter is all metal, so it's not plasticky and cheap and easy to break. It's metal, it's really sturdy. A lot of my past microphones, the aerial has broken quite regularly, but this is a really sturdy little aerial. You can also take the microphone wire out nice and easily, which also avoids damage. So that's really useful. One strange thing about this microphone is the length of the lead. It's got an extremely long lead from the microphone to the transmitter, which isn't quite necessary. If you leave it down, you can literally trip over your own microphone lead. So I took it up like this so that it doesn't get in my way. So that is the Shure GLX series microphone. You can pick it up for around 480, 500 pounds. It's definitely worth the extra money. I love it. This is my vocal processor. This is what I use to put all of the effects on my sound. So reverb, delay, EQing my sax. I use the VE20 Boss vocal processor. I'm going to do a separate video on how I set up my Boss VE20 vocal processor to get my sound for gigs and performances. It pretty much does anything I could possibly want. It does reverb, delay, distortion. You can loop, you can double, you can do harmonies. You can use it as a loop pedal, or you can just set it up as a vocal processor. So I'm gonna go through everything with you guys in a personalized video about how I've set this up and also about all of the little settings it's got in there, but it's an awesome piece of kit. I've had two in the whole time I've been performing. They do last absolutely ages. I think the last one lasted a good 6 years, and then I just got a lot of sand in it in the Maldives. You can also either power it or you can run it off batteries, but I'm too embarrassed to show you my batteries because they are not in a good state. But there are 6 AA batteries in there, so you can use it without power, which is so useful. So that is the Boss VE20 vocal processor. This is what I use for my InEar Kit. Starting off with the headphones, these are the InEar SD4, so Stage Driver 4, and they are absolutely awesome. They're about £500 for the pair, but they are absolutely great. Each ear has got 4 drivers, so 2 bass and 2 mid-high drivers. So what it means is you get really accurate sound. The way that they are shaped as well means that it cuts out a lot of the outside noise, so you can just hear your sound in your ears, which is super useful. They come with a load of different ear sizes. I think I was 2 up from small, so that they can seal really nicely in your ear, and they are absolutely awesome. I use those alongside my InEar receiver and transmitter, which are from Thomann. This is the T-Bone IEM 150 system. So this system comes in at about £144. And what you do is you plug in on the back, right in goes my Sax sound. My vocal processor has 2 different outputs, so I can put one into the DJ's system and one into my in-ears. The second comes out of the DJ's booth. So what that means is that on the transmitter, you can pan to left and have entirely saxophone sound, or you can pan to right and have entirely DJ sound, which means that you can live mix in your ears the balance of your saxophone to the DJ, which is super, super important. And then the volume is on there. So that's a really, really useful piece of kit for me, because it means that whatever the environment, I can protect my ears and I can also hear a really balanced sound. It takes 2 AA batteries, nice and easy, and you can set your frequencies within there. An in-ear kit's really important to me because it means that I can, number one, protect my hearing from damage in really loud environment. It also means that I can control what I hear so that I don't get slightly out of pitch things, because sometimes if you're to the side of a speaker, you don't quite get the correct pitch. So it's really, really, really useful, and I couldn't do without my in-ear kit. Of course, you wouldn't be an international performer without a converter plug. So I have a European converter plug to English, so that wherever I go, I can use my own English extension lead and just plug on into a power socket. Always need one of those in my bag. Saxophone stand. This is super important so that your sax isn't just lying on the floor at a gig in between your sets. I have a little K&M stand. It's super, super portable, really, really small. You literally just screw it out, screw it back in, it closes up, sits like that, and your saxophone sits on it. So I love these stands because they're really easy to pack down. You can travel around the world, they don't take up much space and much weight. And it means that your saxophone's always going to be safe. K&M saxophone stand, super important. Always some spare reeds. I use Java red reeds, 2.5 strength, and I absolutely swear by them. So I always have at least 2 spare in a bag, because you always chip your reed at the worst moment, and you definitely always need a backup. I also have spare mouthpiece protectors for the top of my mouthpiece, just in case I bite through a mouthpiece protector on a gig, or one of them starts coming unstuck. Little tiny changes inside your mouth feel huge, so it makes a really big difference if one of these is coming off. So I always have some spare ones in my saxophone gig bag, ready to go. Always super, super important is your wires. Otherwise, none of the pieces of kit are going to work together. So these are the wires that I have in my sax bag. I also have power cables, but I haven't bothered putting them up. I'm just going to show you how I wire up my whole kit now, so that you guys can see how it all connects up. This is the order that everything's lined up in, from microphone to vocal processor, and then out to my in-ears or out to the main PA sound. So firstly, I have out of my microphone this little short cable, because it never needs to be long, out the back of the Shure and into the input of the vocal processor, which is just here. Number 1, done. Number 2, I then have to go out of my vocal processor into the DJ's system for the PA system, and also into my in-ear monitors, so that I can hear my saxophone sound and so that I can balance the two. So we have an XLR that goes out of left mono. I've set up in the brain of the vocal processor to go out in mono, so it means I can use the 2 separate outputs just as mono outputs, so it doesn't try and split it into stereo. So that's really useful. So this goes into the front of house. Always have a spare XLR to jack cable, just in case the microphone input on the DJ system isn't an XLR. Then XLR from the vocal processor, right mono out. And we're going to go into the in-ear monitor. I always go in left because I want the saxophone to be on the left pan between the two. And then the final thing to do is to wire in from the booth output of the DJ, jack to XLR into the back of the InEar monitor on the right hand side, and that means that I can balance my sound in my ears, and that is how I set up. Keep your eyes on this channel for more details and little bits of info. I'm going to be doing a video really soon about the settings that I use in the VE20, so drop any comments below if you have any questions about that, or if you have any questions about my setup or anything that I do for gigs or ways to prepare for gigs, then drop it in the comments. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can keep up to date with all the little tips and tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. This is Ellie Sax signing out.